Imagine a version of hip-hop history where the most talked-about love triangle never actually centered on Papoose or Easy the Block Captain at all. Instead, the spotlight shifts backward in time, into an era when alliances were forming, careers were being built, and relationships may have been far more complicated than fans ever realized. According to a viral sit-down that's been circulating online, digital detectives have started digging deep into old Terror Squad archives, uncovering claims that Remy Ma may have had a romantic history with Fat Joe long before Papoose entered the picture. The revelation didn't come from a gossip blog or anonymous source. It came from an unexpected voice, Claressa Shields. Shields, widely respected in boxing, dropped a comment during an interview that had nothing to do with sports, but everything to do with shaking up a long-standing narrative. When asked about Remy Ma's past, she casually said, "She was with Joe before Pap. That's common knowledge to us." What sounded like a throwaway remark instantly detonated online. For insiders, maybe it wasn't shocking, but for the public, it flipped a decades-old perception upside down. Suddenly, fans weren't just reminiscing about music, they were reanalyzing it. Old footage, lyrics, interviews, and backstage moments began resurfacing. What once looked like mentorship and loyalty between Fat Joe and Remy Ma started to feel different. To understand why this hit so hard, you have to go back to the early 2000s. At that time, Remy Ma was an emerging artist, discovered by the late Big Pun. After his passing, she found herself navigating the industry under the guidance of Fat Joe, who led Terror Squad. He wasn't just a collaborator. He was a mentor, a protector, and publicly, almost a big brother figure. But now, some are questioning whether that relationship was strictly professional. Former insiders have started speaking up, carefully, often anonymously, suggesting that the dynamic between Remy Ma and Fat Joe may have been more personal than it appeared. One former assistant from that era claimed their connection seemed intense from the beginning, describing private dressing rooms, late-night studio sessions, and a level of closeness that raised eyebrows behind the scenes. Even small details are being re-examined. Nicknames like Joey and Ma, once seen as harmless, are now being viewed through a different lens. Studio sessions stretching into the early hours, private conversations, and exclusive access. All of it is being reinterpreted by fans trying to connect the dots. One resurfaced clip from 2005 has become a focal point. In it, Fat Joe hugs Remy Ma after a performance. It looks routine, until you listen closely. As the moment fades, he appears to whisper, "We're going to get it right this time." At the time, no one thought much of it. Now people are asking, what exactly were they trying to get right? Was it music? Or something more personal? The speculation doesn't stop there. Stories from old tours and events are being pulled back into the spotlight. A promoter claims that after a 2004 show in Atlanta, the two checked into the same hotel suite. Back then it was brushed off as logistics or safety. Today it's being reinterpreted as something more intimate. Another alleged account points to a 2003 Terror Squad retreat in Puerto Rico, where Remy Ma and Fat Joe were reportedly seen spending extended time alone, jet skiing, disappearing for hours, and sharing private dinners away from the rest of the crew. None of this was ever confirmed at the time. But now, with Claressa Shields' comment acting as a catalyst, these stories are gaining new life. What makes this situation even more explosive is how it reframes Remy Ma's later relationship with Papoose. Their story has long been held up as a symbol of loyalty and commitment, especially during Remy's prison sentence, when Papoose publicly stood by her side. Their bond became a cultural touchstone, often described as an example of real love in hip-hop. But if Remy Ma had a deeper, unresolved history with Fat Joe before that, then the timeline isn't as simple as fans believed. Some are now asking uncomfortable questions. Was Papoose stepping into a completely fresh relationship? Or was he entering a situation where emotional ties to the past still lingered? Fueling the fire even more is the silence from all parties involved. Neither Remy Ma, Fat Joe, nor Papoose has issued a clear denial. In the world of celebrity, silence can mean many things, but to fans, it often feels like confirmation. Moments that once seemed harmless are now being dissected. A 2016 interview clip has resurfaced where Fat Joe jokingly told Papoose, "You're lucky I let her go." At the time, it got laughs. Today, it's being analyzed like a clue in a mystery. Even social media behavior is under scrutiny. Fans noticed that when Remy Ma and Papoose renewed their vows in 2022, Fat Joe didn't publicly acknowledge it. Instead, he posted something unrelated, a detail that now feels significant to those following the story. Then came alleged leaks, unverified but widely circulated. A short audio clip, rumored to feature Remy Ma speaking affectionately to someone named Joey, spread across platforms. There's also talk of old messages, unseen footage, and even a missing iPod said to contain personal recordings from that era. None of this has been authenticated. But in the age of viral narratives, perception can move faster than proof. Meanwhile, Claressa Shields hasn't backed down. She's continued to stand by her statement, even posting online that she didn't lie. Whether her motivation was transparency, frustration, or something else entirely remains unclear, but the impact of her words is undeniable. The public reaction has been intense and divided. Some fans feel betrayed, arguing that the image of a perfect relationship was carefully curated. Others are pushing back, saying that even if there was a past relationship, it doesn't diminish what came later. There's also a broader conversation happening about privacy. Should past relationships, especially ones that were never confirmed, be dragged into the spotlight years later? Or is this just part of the price of fame? Industry whispers suggest there may be real consequences unfolding behind the scenes. Brand partnerships, public image strategies, and media appearances are all reportedly being reconsidered. Whether that's true or just speculation, it shows how quickly narratives can shift. At its core, this situation highlights something deeper than gossip. It's about how stories are built, and how they can unravel. For years, fans believed in a certain version of events, a strong, loyal relationship that stood the test of time. Now that narrative is being questioned. But even with all the speculation, one thing remains true. There's no confirmed evidence that definitively proves these claims. What exists right now is a mix of old footage, anonymous accounts, and a single powerful statement that sparked a wave of reinterpretation. So what does it all mean? Maybe it's a reminder that public personas don't always reflect private realities. Maybe it's a lesson in how quickly perception can change when new information enters the conversation. Or maybe it's simply another example of how the internet can turn fragments of the past into a full-blown present-day controversy. Until someone directly involved chooses to speak clearly, the truth remains somewhere between memory, rumor, and interpretation. And that's what keeps people watching. Because in a culture built on storytelling, sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that were never fully told.